He has faced these Patriots. He has faced Belichick. I want to start with Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald says, the safety for the Lions says that Larry says in games, dude, hit me high, I'll pay your fine. I don't want to get hit in the legs. That's about the 15th player that's told me the same thing. So you were a receiver. You have those.
I was a tight end. I was tight end.
And you have free safeties that occasionally are going to hit you without you knowing. What did you make of Larry Fitzgerald's comments?
I'm wondering, and because I've had a chance to spend some time with Larry, I'm wondering if I'm the one who told him this. I don't know, because this is exactly what I would do before every game. I would go up to the DBs, especially as I got older, Colin. I would go up to the DBs before the game. I'd be like, come here, young buck. And this is me being a little bit older. And I would tell them, see these things? Don't hit me up. Don't hit me in my knees. Don't hit me down low. Hit me up top. And I'll make a deal with you. And because, of course, they would say, well, you don't turn around trying to run me over, and I'm not going to. And I go, look, I won't run you over. I'm going to try to make you miss, but you can't hit me down. Don't hit me down low. And hit me up top. And I said this to the media, too. I said, I'd rather get hit up top and take my chances there, because as soon as you hit me low, like that hit on Odell Beckham, you're just showing him in the preseason. And I feel for these DBs. But if you can take him out, and we need him. The league needs him, let alone his team needs him. You're going to take away a player's whole year by tearing his ACLs, MCL, PCL, all that stuff. Just hit them up top. I would always say, and I always made a deal with those young bucks.
You know, it's funny. I talked to Jalen Rose, good NBA player, good broadcaster, and a friend of mine, and he said one time, he said, man, he goes, toward the end of my career, we were all making so much money in the NBA. It was like you worked out with guys. It was like we always said, just don't hit the moneymaker if we get into a fight. Because we don't wear hats and helmets. And it's like NFL players, once you age, you're all kind of in it together, right? Yeah. And there's a sea of money, and the money is growing. So I think what you and Larry Fitzgerald, two of the smartest players that I've certainly interviewed through the years, it's like, hey, bro, I won't run. You're playing games. You're just saying, listen, let's make a little negotiation here, a little side bet. I'll pay your fine. Just don't take my legs out. Okay, so the Patriots, I don't know if they're as good as 2007, the Randy Moss team, but Peyton Manning's out. Big Ben's eroded. Andrew Luck is out. The bad teams now in their division appear to be tanking. 10 years ago, Cleveland, with Derek Anderson, won 10 games. Jacksonville had David Garrard. They won 11 games. The bottom wasn't terrible back then. The bottom of the AFC now is tanking. Can anybody challenge New England?
In the AFC? In the AFC now? I don't think so. I'm looking, and I guess tonight would probably, that's a good football team in Kansas City.
I think it's as good a roster as the AFC has.
It's as good as, I agree with you there, Con, and I just don't think that, I'm looking at Pittsburgh too, the Raiders. It's going to be very, very tough for them to lose to an AFC opponent. Now, I'd certainly believe that there are some NFC teams out there that can challenge this team. The Seattle Seahawks, you got the Falcons, and you've got
Green Bay.
Green Bay. Those three teams right there out of the NFC
can
definitely challenge this team. But they are loaded. You are absolutely. They are loaded from top to bottom. They're going to be impossible to stop on the offensive side of the ball. This has got to be the team that everybody's picking. I don't know how you could pick a different team to represent AFC in the Super Bowl in Minnesota this year.
Yeah, Vegas odds makers are saying the 2007 team was better, but what I don't think anybody's considering is just how much worse the AFC is. And I was saying the late game on CBS, your former employer, is Scott Tolzien against Jared Goff. That's the late CBS game. And that's not knocking CBS. That was usually Peyton Manning territory and Big Ben territory, and that's what the conference is going through. It's funny about teams. I don't buy the Giants this year. And every year, a team that was really good the previous year comes down to earth. I think it's Atlanta and the Giants. You love Atlanta. And now it's a first-place schedule. Shanny's gone. And the other thing is, last year was a weird year, Tony. Carolina, Tampa, and New Orleans were hideous defensively. It was one of these perfect storms where the entire division outside of Atlanta went into the tank and got injured. I think the division's a lot better this year, but you still love Atlanta.
I still love Atlanta. I had a chance to sit out there with Matt.
You did.
Ryan, which will be airing on our show this Sunday. sitting there looking at him, not just him, I'll get to him in a little bit, but their defense is going to be a lot better than what it was last year. Last year, the biggest knock on that Atlanta Falcon team was that they had that young defense, which showed out in the playoffs. Yeah. They put a whooping on Tom Brady in that first half. They did. And all those guys are getting more mature. They've arrived, I would say. And Adontario Poe, I think, is a huge addition for them. The defensive tackle from the Kansas City Chiefs on a one-year deal. There's something about a one-year deal that gets guys to play a little bit better because they know what can come. They can get $100 million out of playing really well. And then back to Matt Ryan. You said Shanahan's gone, but so as far as I'm concerned, I think Matt Ryan is the coordinator now. I think it's just like a Peyton Manning. It's just like a Drew Brees. It's just like a Tom Brady. You can take away the offensive coordinator, but he's arrived. He is that elite status quarterback now. I would be really surprised if he digresses. I believe what he did last year, he's going to be able to put up similar numbers this year. I'm not saying he'll be the MVP again, but they have, I think, they're missing one guy from last year. If they stay healthy, and especially the offensive line, Matt Ryan, he's going to be out there. It's his offense now. It's not Shanahan's offense or anybody else's offense. It's his. He's the one pulling the trigger now. I
want to go to this Ezekiel Elliott thing, and I don't want to talk about the legal stuff because I don't know enough about law and I don't know enough about this case. He said, she said. But I was making this argument yesterday on Speak for Yourself, is that we know Ezekiel Elliott is going through some stuff. But my argument was there could be 9 other Cowboys who have a wife problem, a kid problem, a cousin problem, a finance problem. It's just not in the papers. Is that we always think in the media, oh, Tiger Woods is the one guy fooling around on his wife. How do you know? That's just the public one. You were in locker rooms your whole life. Isn't it kind of an understanding in the NFL throughout the course of a season? Everybody's got a home issue, a cousin issue, a buddy issue, a kid issue. Like this idea that Ezekiel Elliott's life is turned upside down and everybody else's life in the Cowboy locker room is just perfect. It's rainbows, all the finances. I mean, I look at Ezekiel Elliott and I think all humans, not just football players, all humans are dealing with chaos in their life.
We're all going through something, right?
And you had the perfect life, I would think. Did you ever go to a game, have a 2-week stretch, 3-week stretch, Tony, when it was hard to concentrate on football during the season?
Well, you know what? Once you get on the field, that is your safe haven, at least for most players. Like that, then you can forget about everything, and they can just go out there and play some football. But yeah, stuff happens. That's life. Stuff comes up. And you're right about players going through it all. Ezekiel Elliott is not the only person on that Cowboy roster or in the NFL who's having these type of problems. Obviously, it's more in the public eye. But I remember there was a guy on our team who had to leave camp or whatever, or during the season he had to leave to go somewhere, and so the coach said he's dealing with a personal issue. His grandmother passed away, and so it was sad, right? And we wrote him a letter, and everybody signed it and said get back soon. And then we're talking to a former teammate of his, and they're like, yeah, he lost his grandma, and he's like, really? He goes, when I played with him, he lost his grandma. And I'm like, what? And it turned out this was the 3rd time. He used it when he was in college, too. The 3rd time he used his excuse that he lost his grandma, what he did. It turned out he didn't lose his grandma. He just didn't show up to practice because he was out doing some other bad stuff.
Yeah.
I think had a little substance abuse problem. But, it's what my point is that stuff happens around. And guys are going through some stuff that's not in the media, that's not in the public eye. And this is what every team deals with.
Every week.
And they get every week, and the good teams are the ones that can deal with it and keep it going. New England Patriots, they can deal with that type of stuff. Stuff goes on, but it doesn't get out. It's not in the public eye. And Coach Belichick does a great job of dealing with the noise and keeping his team focused.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.